That's a nice song, right? Brand new, legendary rockers Elton John, Ozzy Osbourne just releasing this single today, days after the Rocket Man scored big at the Golden Globes. Now, I wouldn't call it a comeback because old-time rock and roll never went away. I mean, with the likes of Rod Stewart, the Beach Boys, Brian Wilson, Peter Paul, they're all still touring and drawing pretty big crowds. That's why old rockers are my pick for winner of the week. Joining me now to discuss District Media Group President Beverly Hallberg. All right, Beverly, I read an article. I'm reading about Rod Stewart. Like, he got into a fight on New Year's. First of all, I'm digging him for that, first of all. He's 75 years old. But the guy who wrote the article dissed old rockers, saying at a certain age you should stop. I think that's wrong. They're my winners of the week.
Yeah, I think 70 is the new 60, so I applaud them. I think this is great. And I also think in many ways, young musicians and young people can also look to some of these individuals who have struggled with drug use in their past, who are on a path of sobriety. So even Elton John this past July said that he has been sober 29 years. And like you just mentioned, he's already had a big 2020. He did win Best Original Song for the biopic of his life called Rocket Man. And who knows, he may even get an Oscar for that song as well.
All right. Now, for one, that could be a winner or loser. It depends on how you look at it, but I think it's a good story. We just heard this week the largest ever one-year decline for U.S. cancer rates, overall rate falling since 1991, but drops of about 1.5%, fell more than 2% from 2016 to 2017. How are you feeling about that?
This is huge news, and I'll say personally I have a very dear friend who's been battling melanoma. It's her third bout, and she just found out she was cancer-free because of immunotherapy drugs. So this is where we're seeing great innovation in medicine, and we are seeing, especially when it comes to skin cancer, where if a patient has it, there's a very high chance they'll be able to beat it. But also, I think this is the other part, it's also the information that people have. You see that smoking has decreased among individuals, and also preventative measures to make sure they don't have cancer. But I think this is a winner.
All right. Now, the loser, without a doubt, are scooter companies. There's all kinds of reports out today about injuries, 40,000 ER visits from 2014, 2018. Lime is laying off 14% of its workforce. They're going to cease operations in 12 markets. Here's the thing, Beverly. When I was growing up in New York, you had to look down to make sure you didn't step in the wrong thing, but you also had to look up to make sure you weren't mugged. Now, if you ever trip over one of these scooters, that's all she wrote. They're ugly. They're an eyesore. They lay them anywhere. They got to figure out a better way.
No, this is my pet peeve. The scooter is definitely that, because I'll say whenever I step outside my home, sometimes I'm tripping over the scooter that was just strewn about. My dog is terrified of them. So there are many reasons why I don't like the scooters. And here's the thing. Residents don't use them. This comes down to tourists using them. And by the way, they often don't use them well. They stack too many people on them. They get in the streets. So I think the reason why you're seeing a decline in scooter use is because people are finally waking up and saying, hey, it's kind of littering the streets. We don't really like it. And I'm curious, I have a question for you, Charles. Have you yourself ever used a scooter? I personally have not.
No, I've done the rental bikes, but there is a weight limit on those scooters, Beverly.
Stop.
Okay.
I've seen tourists piled up on them, Charles. I'm not sure there is.
Okay, because last time I went next to one, the thing turned red. But let me bring up your loser, because Harry and Meghan, you're saying they're a loser, right? They announced that they're stepping back from their royal duties. I got to admit, this whole thing goes over my head. What's going on here?
Oh, well, here is Meghan Markle and, of course, her husband Harry saying they no longer want to be part of the royal family. It's so bad that even Madame Tussauds in London is removing their wax figures, Charles, so they will no longer be with the royal family and the wax figure family. But here's the thing. They say they want to be financially independent, but yet they still will be receiving some money from the British government. They still will have a residence that's in Windsor that was just remodeled for $3 million. And I think this is the most fascinating thing. They just trademark Sussex Royal. So they still plan to be making money off the royal name, even though they say they no longer want to be part of it.
I get a feeling we're going to see a collaboration between Supreme and Sussex Royals. It just rolls right off the tongue. All right, Beverly, thank you very much. Always enjoy your segments. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Hey, folks.